Welcome back, guys, to the channel, and welcome to the very first spoiler talk. And it's been a long time coming, trying to get spoiler talk into the mix. And as you can see, I've got someone right here on my left. My left.
It is on your left. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, that is my left. It's over here. It's just odd because I see you on my right, but it's fine. It's all good. This is my boy James Profetto, not to be confused with prosciutto.
Bro.
That's right.
I had a dime. Not even $1, just a dime.
Just a
dime.
dime?
Every time I heard that, I would be rich.
I hope so. And with that money, I hope you'd buy some ham. No.
So good. It's so good. It's so good.
It's
like
so
I just want you. Can this just be a dad joke?
It is a dad
episode?
joke. It is a
good.
dad joke.
Just want this to be an entire dad joke episode, please.
We could totally do that. I've actually done that on my other channel. I have a dad joke challenge.
So good. So good.
So yeah, and they're also really bad, but all good.
But they're really good.
Yes, that is the thing. All right, so guys, James Profetto is the host, the owner. He runs Reflect the Screen on YouTube. So if you have not seen that, and this is the first time seeing him, make sure you hit that channel, youtube.com/reflectthiscreen. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave some comments, and then share it with your friends and your mama, because, of course, all that stuff helps him out. Welcome, James Profetto. Thanks for coming by today, man.
Thanks for having me, Dave. We've been talking about this for like 2 years now. We've known each other for 2 years. It's insane. But we just haven't actually gotten the time or the chance to do it.
Yep.
And it's so cool that finally we come to a point, I guess, in both our careers where we can just say, let's do it.
Let's just get it done,
fun.
man. Yep, we've got it. And of course, the movie that we have here is Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And we do have a couple of things that we felt about this, and we've got our notes here for what we think in terms of comparison to the 2014 version, what we like and dislike, cinematography, directorial choices, things like that, and of course the ending after credit scene as well to talk about. So let's get into it. So choice of direction. What did you think of let's say Dougherty versus Gareth Edwards?
So I think in Gareth Edwards' 2014 Godzilla, there was like more, I guess there were more subtleties. Like everything was kind of slow. It was a very slow burn. And I think that with Dougherty, what he did was he took all the complaints from the 2014 version. Basically, hey, why are all the monster battles happening off screen? And Dougherty said, let's just do everything in the forefront. So he was really on the nose about everything. Like there was nothing hidden. I saw every fight so clearly.
Yeah, I agree, and I actually don't mind that because of that steeping style of 2014. He showed here's Godzilla's like toenail, here's like a little bit of tail on the scale, in the end there, and then you got like a 10-minute full-on scene of him at the end, which was beautiful. But I felt it was just a little bit too long, dragged a little bit too much. Even though I did like the story, except for the fact that they duped everybody into thinking that Bryan Cranston was going to be a major part of the movie, and they Johnny Caged him. So no,
you cannot do that. Not only to Walter White, but you can't just do that to the audience, because you tease him in the trailer for how many months leading up to the movie that he's going to be this crucial player, and you just kill him in the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
It's like,
yep. If that's a spoiler, guys, well, then you didn't read the title.
It has been 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah, no excuse at all. But I do like the fact that he did go right into the monsters fighting, because there's no need for an extra mystery of what these look like, and I think that's one of the faults of the Paranormal Activity series, just kind of bringing in another movie. Like every single time they bring that movie in, it's the same style. Like it starts very subtle, and then it's this slow burn, and then you have this big reveal at the end. And I'm glad that they did away with that, because there was so much to see. There was nothing to hide here, and all of those fights were so clear and crisp. And I mentioned in my review about how that's such a contrast to Transformers, which is just such a jumbled and dark mess. You can barely see what's going on. These are super clear and just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, because even though we understand most of the film is at night, like it didn't feel like it was dark. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that the cinematographer like just took that and was like, okay, we get it. Like, it's gloomy, it's dark, but I want you to be able to see King Ghidorah flying. I want you to be able to see like Rodan. What did he do? This like twirl or something with all the bomber
Yeah,
jets?
dude, yeah, with the bomber jets. That's
He saw
when
everything.
they were just like, they were just like getting all around him, and he was like, "Bro, just forget it." And he just starts spinning and taking them all out, and I'm like, "That's so good. That is so good."
Yeah, but we saw everything, and that's why I think this movie was so good for me, is because I came in knowing that this is a monster film, and I wanted to see everything. I was a little nervous at first because they did this thing where they showed Godzilla, and then they showed the humans, so they like panned away from it, and everything was happening in the background. And I'm like, not again, please, not again. And luckily for us, people who wanted to come see just them fighting, they put everything on a pedestal, and you just saw everything so clearly, like we've been saying. So it was really good.
I think the crew went to like Universal, like before they started making the movie, and just like went on like the Jurassic Park ride, and just kind of got a feel for that, because there was that scene. I forget where it is, like right in the middle, like right before they escape the complex, and and you see the monster like going over the top of the vehicle with like the clear top, and I was like, dude, this feels like Universal Studios, bro. Like the pounding, the just like the whole experience. I was expecting like hot fire to start blowing on the sides,
But what I did love a lot about the presentation is that I think they paid very close attention to the monster. So like, even though the monster might have been like really far out of frame, you could still kind of see all of the scales perfectly. I mean, like King Ghidorah's, like each head was so great. I think that this film needed to be excellent in the CGI department. Now the problem is, it was excellent in the CGI department, and it wasn't so excellent in the human emotion department,
or human anything department.
Yeah,
like
which I didn't hate, honestly, but
No, I didn't hate it. It's just it kind of went back to late '80s, early '90s style storytelling without so much cheese. Like they tried to. It's kind of like the way Avatar played out. The dialogue in Avatar, the way that all the human interaction, it felt like Cameron never updated any of the script for the modern day. He just left it in the '90s where he wrote it. And so they had kind of like the same type of story beats, and there was a lot of cliche type stuff. But as you mentioned, the emotional aspect flat, humor flat, story beats flat, just all of that.
Yeah, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown was the only one that looked like she kind of took what the script gave her and was like turning it into gold, or at least like fake gold. Is there fake gold? I don't know if there's like a term for fake gold.
Fool's gold. Fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
There is fool's gold.
So basically, I understood that Millie Bobby Brown's role was to like, she brought in the popularity factor because everyone knows her from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
So there was similar like beats for her character and Eleven's character, like the troubled child caught in between like a rock and a hard place, and she's like screaming all the time in the movie too. So I think that they told her to just be herself. So she wasn't really acting like her character, she was just acting like Millie Bobby Brown, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that based on the trailers, they tried to give you that feel that she was a form of 11 in this movie, like she had some kind of a connection. I'm sorry guys, if you're watching this, you haven't seen the movie, again, spoiler talk, she doesn't have any of that. She has none of that. No. It's a very misleading aspect of the trailer that you'll probably be disappointed with if you're looking for that human aspect. This is not about the humans. This is about Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, like all of that is forefront, and it's absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. Like there wasn't a part where I was ever like, man, this is a stupid movie, except for when I was watching the humans. That's just that is the only time I was thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. I think that like the humor, like when they wrote it, it probably sounded better on paper than it was executed. Because what was that joke, Dave? When they're talking about Godzilla, they said, like,
"Oh no, God, that was the worst. That was the worst." He's like, "Oh God," and then the other guy's like, "Zilla," and I was like,
"Oh my God, it's so bad."
It's like at that point you just switch your whole accent. You're like, "But why do this to me? Why?" Why you write script like this? Do this? No, I don't like.
You become like some foreigner.
Yeah, it's just like completely. It revokes your citizenship. It's so bad.
Yeah, like smoking a cigarette in the theater, like those long skinny cigarettes. This will never happen. This is my country.
It's horrible writing.
But honestly, though, I think it was almost like on purpose. Did it feel like that way to you? They purposefully wrote the
Yeah,
characters in a hole
yeah.
because they didn't care about them.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. One, they didn't care. Two, they were just like, get the monsters right, and trust me, nobody will care. And three, I think they wanted to give it this nostalgic feel of just bad storytelling outside of the monster fighting, which is basically part of the original. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, nobody watched the original Godzilla for the for the engaging human interaction.
Yeah, no, and I think that at the time of us recording this, the Rotten Tomatoes score is actually kind of bad. From what my friends are telling me, it's really, really low. It's probably in the 50s or so. And honestly, I don't think it's that bad of a film. But I think
No, not at all.
like the audience loves it more than the critics love it. If that makes a lot of sense. Like this film wasn't made for your professional critic. It was made for your average like summer, I don't know, blockbuster fan.
Popcorn eater,
Yeah.
dude. People
Yeah,
that
man.
loved Godzilla. You know what? Matter of fact, if you were to look at my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, which is the first one from the early '90s, that has like what a 47 or 42 or something like that. And that movie's
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
bad.
Yeah, it's fantastic though. And here the audience, what the audiences were 88, something like that.
Yeah, so it's like flipped. It's totally night and day, honestly, for these sorts of films. And I think that, honestly that's why Dougherty so he wrote the film as well as directed it, but I think he's not directing Godzilla versus Kong. I think it's somebody else, but he's also writing that script. So if
Yeah,
anything, I mean, if people didn't like how he wrote the humans or the actual people in this movie, I don't think it gets much better going forward, but that's how they make their money, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, if they want to, I mean, it really comes to see how this performs in the global box office. If it's a smash, then they don't have to worry about it. They can just continue on like Transformers because they just keep on bringing in billions of dollars and just make crummier and crummier movies. But if Godzilla has breaks somewhere even, or it still makes a little bit but not as much as it needed to, but they're still going to move forward, I would say that they would maybe have some screen rewrites, not screen rewrites, script rewrites, where they would inject a little more humor and better humor than they had here, because there was humor. It just, I don't know, it was just the pacing of it was always off. Even the cuts and the angles were off to get the right look and feel for that humor. It was just like, nope, you should just
Yeah.
left that out.
I see the one thing I do notice about like the way you look at films, and it's really cool to see it happen this way. Like you are really good at noticing like bad editing or like just bad framing of shots. Like I notice every time we talk after screenings, you're like, man, those cuts were awful, but I don't think about that. I'm like, wait a second, yeah. Maybe they weren't so good. And I mean, you're not always cynical. Sometimes you're just like, man, the cinematography was awesome, the editing was on point. But I think in this film, what they wanted to do was very quickly cut away from like Kyle Chandler or like Ken Watanabe. They wanted to get away from them as fast as possible, because if you notice, every time they focused on the humans, there was always something to do with the monsters in the background,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
something to do with like a graphic of a monster or something. There was never a 100% focus on the human. Now, when they tried that with Charles Dance, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's
but, like,
fine. No,
Charles
no.
Dance, like when they tried to focus in on him being the supervillain, it didn't work. So that's why I think they pulled away from that towards the second half of the movie.
It could be that they also didn't know what to do with him either, because that's what it
Oh,
felt like in the
fair,
movie. Okay, so
fair.
so let's talk about Charles Dance then, because
Okay.
there's two sides to Charles Dance. As we all know, he is Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, but again, he's also Benedict from The Last Action Hero, and I think they chose the latter for this film,
Yeah, I
because
think
that
so
was
too.
definitely not Tywin Lannister, which I think is a waste.
Right, because the thing is, he's meant to be menacing in this movie. He is literally the reason why humanity was at stake. Like Vera Farmiga, yes, she developed everything. She made the conscious decision to go ahead and go against the grain. But I think like Charles Dance had everything he needed. He just had the device. All he needed was a device. He had a team of scientists on his own.
Yeah.
So I think that because they decided to stray away from him being like this really powerful supervillain, it played down his role in this movie, and it sucked for that, honestly.
Oh yeah, well that was the reveal of it all, because there was this mysterious aspect of who he was, how he was able to do all these things, where he got the connections from, all this stuff, and then at the end you find out that it's Vera Farmiga's character who set everything up, and I was like,
and she doesn't sell it. That's the problem. She's very two-dimensional. I mean, I said it in my review too. Her and Charles Dance are the two worst parts of the movies because I don't think that what they do is they don't really like express themselves very well.
No.
Like you get tired of the whole like head nod from Charles Dance and the looking up, and then you get tired of Vera Farmiga just looking like she's always sad. Like, does she have any range of emotion?
Yeah,
in this
none,
movie?
none at all. And that's really disappointing from her coming from the Conjuring movies because she does absolutely fantastic there. And then comes here and she's, again, yeah, just like you said, this one-dimensional character. And they set her up on all these different story narratives that never panned out, like in the beginning with Miley Bobby Brown. She's like, oh, I'm worried about mom. She's talking to her dad. And then you don't really see anything to be worried about except for burning bacon, which you thought was her, but then it wasn't. It was more Millie who burned the bacon. And I was like,
yeah, I'm like Millie. I'm like, girl, come on. How can you be calling somebody else out for not acting right when you left bacon on the stove for 20 minutes? Like, why?
Why you went on your computer? What's wrong with you, you millennial, whatever?
Yeah.
Is that a millennial thing to do? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, but she's probably Gen Z, right?
So yeah, definitely not. So I'm way off. I don't even know those.
No. I don't know, dude. I listen to certain things, like in social media for a living. Kind of, you have to pay attention to those trends. But I don't want to go off on a tangent on that because I do want to comment on Millie Bobby Brown. I think, is it fair to say she was the best in this movie, like the best actor in this movie?
I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay, so because of that, I think one, they're gonna bring her back for the next film. At least I saw it on IMDb. I think what she's gonna do is she's going to build from this tremendously in terms of her future. So this was kind of like the role she needed on the big screen because we're so familiar with her on Stranger Things, but it was really cool to kind of see her work alongside the other actors and make them better. And it sounds weird to say that, but like Kyle Chandler was much better when Millie Bobby Brown was, I guess, in the same scene together.
Yeah.
So I loved her the most, and I think that's part of the reason why I gave the human element being bad a pass because of her.
I was a little disappointed in what I thought she was going to bring because I know she's so good, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But that's not because of her ability. That was just what she was given, and she did the best she could with what they gave her. You know, it's like, you know, that chef that shows up to your house, but you only have like fish sticks, but he still manages to make like a pretty good meal with it.
Because of the tartar sauce.
Because of the tartar sauce. Okay, there it is. All right, we're good. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties there, and we came back, so we're going to act like nothing ever happened. Okay, so story-wise... Okay, so I think we've talked enough about why things were bad in terms of the humans. It was a very boring thing, but... there's also not a lot to talk about in terms of the monsters because that is the thing that you just go to see. There's all this amazing stuff. The beautiful internal colors of not only Godzilla but Ghidorah, Rodan. Mothra was like this great, like I think she puts Captain Marvel to shame actually in the way that her colors were integrating with her body in terms of comparison. I think that just looked more more beautiful. I mean, I don't really know that you can compare that because they're like, well, she's not Captain Marvel. That's why. Yeah. I get it, but I'm just saying it just was more compelling to look at.
It's so funny that you bring that up too because it's another thing that we really like. I guess just had the same thoughts on in terms of like the hue, like that blue hue of Godzilla. Like there's this scene where he's underwater and like he's getting closer and closer to the submarine. Like, did you like that scene? Because I thought it was really dope.
Yeah. That was where you can see the spikes in the back and it's just like pulsating. Yeah.
And then just this, like it appears, of course, and it's in like the forefront. Like he hits the glass, but then like he goes away. And I thought that what the film did best with is that each monster had a very specific color. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like Godzilla had that blue. Mothra had I think it was it like a lighter blue?
Cerulean. What do you call that color?
Yeah.
Cerulean.
And Rodan had a red, and then King Ghidorah had yellow lightning.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was. First of all, I love just when cinematographers can play with colors like this. But I really have to give my hats off to Michael Dougherty, like taking the time to just render all that and just really like. I guess it added to the immersive experience for me.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
I felt so good. I was like, man, this is exactly what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Which is why I love the movie a little bit more.
And it's beautiful too because even on the dark scenes, that's what gives you so much of the light because there's so much ambience coming off of each character's particular glow and color and hue, and that was just and not only that, the physics that is there. When they're attacking, they really paid a lot of attention to muscle movement, the way the skin flows, the way the light bounces off, the particles that come off, whether it's fire or electricity. It's just like everything was very, very well taken care of, and a lot of attention to detail. And for anyone looking for that, just in the monster fight, in the middle of someone getting bitten, you're just like, oh my god, there's actually blood that came out, and it's flowing like actual for real. Like you go to like Kill Bill or something like that, and she slashes a dude, and then all that you have like that fake blood that you're just like that's not even. But this is a very realistic look. I've very few times that I feel like this was like fake CG, how they don't get the gravity right. Everything felt grounded and it had weight. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So I guess it's fair to say that Millie Bobby Brown is the best part of the film, and the technical aspect of the monster battles are the best parts of the film. And
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Is that enough? You know what I mean, for a movie like this? And I think it probably is, which is why I rated it a lot higher than most. I mean, like out of 5 stars, I probably would give it a 4. Is that like high for you?
No. I think, see, like I kind of got away from like the actual rating system because I started to go back and look at what I rated things previously, and I was like, oh, some of these don't match up. So I tried to give it more of like a recommendation, yes, you should definitely go see this, or no, wait for like the 3rd week and go check it out on a matinee, or wait for Netflix, or wait for Hulu, or just wait for it
Which
to
is
come
fair,
on TV.
yeah.
So it's stuff like that. But yeah, I rated it something that you should watch if you love Godzilla. But if you are looking for some kind of like story and emotion and have those nice little roundabout plot devices and details, nope.
I get you. I get you.
Yep, not so much.
All right. So, do you think? I mean, are you more excited for Godzilla versus Kong because of this movie?
I am confused about the power levels at this point because we just saw some like basically Dragon Ball Z type stuff, wrapped in monsters. You know what I mean? And so, you now you have this Godzilla who's straight up like atomic. And he beats this space, 3-headed dragon, Ghidorah, and he's gonna go fight Kong, who had trouble with like humans and helicopters. You know what I mean? And so
That's true, but I mean, technically, Kong learned from it, right? So like he'll only be better. And I mean, I'd imagine it's not just gonna be Godzilla and Kong fighting. They're probably gonna have to team up to face off against King Ghidorah, because at the end of the film, or King of Monsters, I should say. Doesn't it show like the 3rd head or something?
Yeah, the 3rd head, and then your boy comes in and shows his actual villainy. He comes in and he's like, well,
that was a better, in those like 5 seconds, that was a better performance than his entire like performance throughout the rest of the film.
Yep, they could have just cut him out and showed his picture and then just showed him at the end doing that, and that would have been like, fine, it's fine. Thank you, Tywin, for showing him. So it could be a team up. It could be a versus. I just hope he learned enough to take these guys on, because his movie definitely did not show anything near what Godzilla went through at all. He's king of the monsters. So is he king of King Kong?
That's fair. That's fair, man. Yeah, because I don't know if Kong is a monster. Is he?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what they're categorizing him as now.
Listen, bro, we're probably thinking way too deep into this. Like,
I mean, I'm a power level kind of guy. Like, I want to know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, he's got like HP above his head, and it's just.
Yeah, dude. Is he going to bow when he gets there? Does the king bow to another king, or what do they do? Or do they just fist bump and take it on? Like what? And he doesn't have any projectile, powers or anything like that. So. Being like a MOBA nerd, you have like, the melees who are like super strong, and then you have like the distance characters and the magic characters who aren't that strong, but they have distance, so is Kong just going to be this overly powerful, just like visceral melee champion?
I think it'll be like cliche in the sense that like Kong will take Godzilla by surprise because Godzilla's cocky. Then Godzilla will defeat Kong, and then what they're gonna do is come together when they find out that King Ghidorah is out there and can kill them both. That's probably what's gonna happen, dude.
That's how Batman v Superman should have done it, but they didn't. So.
But then they went with Martha. Oh no.
Look, okay, I have my feelings about that. We can talk about that another
Oh,
time.
dude, no, because that movie's awful. Anything you
Another
try
t-
to do to defend that movie, I will
no,
say
no, no,
die.
no. All I'm saying is that in premise, it worked, but the way that they executed it was awful. It was just, like on paper they probably looked at it and was like, okay, we can do something with this, and then what they gave us was like, no, dude. So, well, that's another discussion. We will discuss
Yes,
that.
please.
It's a Warner Brothers discussion. We could definitely do that.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple other things that I did want to touch on that I didn't want to leave out. And now I have forgotten what those things are. Important things.
For Godzilla?
The Echo. So, the Echo device. Okay, so what did you think of the Echo device? The Monarch Echo device. Like, did you like that as a plot device? Did you like?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. I mean, I understand it was going to. I honestly I knew like from the moment I saw it that it was going to have a role to play in the end of the film, and I mean throughout it was just like kind of that red herring, and I understood that. Okay, here we go. Like it's just there for the plot. But what I did like about it is that it just added another level of tech and another level of like complexity to understanding the monsters. So it made it a little bit more realistic in the sense that like humans can't just sit up there and talk to Godzilla. They have to use this device that was carefully crafted by Vera Farmiga's character.
Yeah.
What I didn't like though is what you told me about, which is how easy it was to fix.
Yeah, it was so easy to fix, dude. It was just like they're like, we have 2 minutes, and they were like, all right, and they take this thing that apparently got busted and trampled on by one of these monsters, and this guy like pulls out like this magic solder out of his back pocket, and it's just like fix it in the
Where'd you
rain.
get that from Home Depot. Depot. It's
At Home Depot. It was at the Radio Shack before they went out of business. It's like,
yeah, wow.
Yeah, I know it's bad. Okay, so, but they're doing that in the rain, and then like at the beginning of the film, she's doing all this like circular stuff on the touchscreen, and there's like this thing, and then this thing, and then this whole like thing, and then all of a sudden they're just like, bloop. Like they just program like the 3-finger gesture, and everything's fine.
And then Charles Dance at the end is just like, oh, I don't need you anymore. So it's like, wait, you don't? Like, I thought you did.
This is her at gunpoint. It's her against like 8 soldiers. He's like, let it go.
We have what we need. I'm like, no, you don't, because you don't have the scientists to control it. Like, I don't understand.
Well, I guess we found out at the end of the movie. He's like, there it is. The head. So maybe that's what that was. And then there was one other thing, which was, like the plot aspect of everything was very Thanos-like. She's just like, look, we got to get rid of half the people so that we can survive because everything is finite, and they literally could have just taken everything from Thanos. Like, I'm the only one who understands that. Like that whole thing. And I felt that was a very like green agenda message that they were trying to send. They're just like, you eat too much, or man. You're polluting too much. There's the earth is gonna fall apart, the ozone layer, and the monsters are coming to kill you guys because you guys suck.
Yeah, but like I honestly I was very confused and puzzled by that decision by Dougherty to write that in. Like, it felt very on the nose. It didn't even flow. Like, all of a sudden she's talking about like saving the planet, and I'm like, wait, what? No, that didn't make sense. They should have probably went in a different direction. Maybe her just simply being selfish, honestly, and just caring for the monsters too much. That would have worked better than like, here, let me show you this crazy diagram of like everything that's gonna happen in the next like 10 years. Like, all these trees are gonna die, and then because the monsters take over, they grow again, and then everything is fine. Like,
oh yeah, that was weird. They're like, everywhere they've been, they get like trees, and you're like, okay, but we had like economic boom over here for a little while. Like, what are we gonna do with the trees? Like, who's gonna come next, Captain Planet?
Yes, Don Cheadle, Captain Planet.
Yes. And there was only 4 main monsters. You just needed a 5th one for Heart.
Yeah, but I mean, it just, I don't know. It didn't fit for me. But I think I gave it a pass, and it's weird. I usually don't do that with a lot of films, and lately I've been giving things like that a pass if the element the director's trying to really aim for succeeds. So it's like the monster battles. Like, clearly that's what Dougherty was going for, and it worked. So I was willing to excuse everything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you tell a kid like, look, you finish your Brussels sprouts, you can have candy. Done.
Exactly.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
They were like rotten Brussels sprouts in this movie, though.
Yeah.
Very rotten.
Rotten. Yeah. Well, isn't Brussels sprouts enough?
No, Brussels sprouts are delicious. Are you kidding? It's like my favorite snack, man. Or one of them. One of my favorite
Well, not
snacks.
when you're a kid. I mean, now it is. Now it's great. All right, so I think we did pretty good here. This is our first time trying the spoiler format. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and don't forget to check out James Profeto, not a ham at all, at youtube.com/reflect the screen. And then also I'll put his Twitter and everything down in the description below, so don't forget to check that out. Now, we do have another screening coming up here in the next few days, and that is X-Men Dark Times.
Dark Phoenix, not Dark Times. Get it right,
I'm
Dave.
I'm calling it Dark Times because it is the end.
It feels like that though. After Apocalypse, you're like, I don't know where this is going.
Dude, okay, so like, this has been bothering me. At the end of Apocalypse, which is awful, by the way.
It's not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Professor X is like, I feel like she has this hidden power. And then she comes out and she has Phoenix powers, man. So, so are they doing Phoenix where she's Phoenix, good Phoenix? But where does she get the Phoenix powers? Does she just have Phoenix powers? Because from what I know, she's supposed to have Dark Phoenix, defeat the Dark aspect, and then keep the Phoenix, and then keep it rolling. And that could be a different story. But she already has Phoenix in Apocalypse, and so now she's going to go to space and get Dark Phoenix?
It's weird. I think that what they'll do in this one, honestly, is just retcon that. They'll just like eliminate that ever even happened, and then just hope the viewer
just forgets about it.
Would just forget about it. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, those are flames. It is not her hair.
I mean, I guess I don't want to fool myself and say that I'm really excited for this, because I'm not. I just think that I'm hopeful it'll be good. It'll be like a good ending to. I think this is the last 20th century X-Men film, right?
There's one more, which will be the New Mutants.
Oh God.
Yeah, but that's in like development hell. It's on its like 5th reshoot session. This one got reshot. So apparently you were supposed to have an ending in space, and then now they've reshot it so that it's an ending on a train. So
what?
Yeah,
that just sounds like a lot of like work to do within the script, not even just like shooting. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a reshoot. I think they had it, and then now it's something else. I don't know. It's hard to care about this film knowing that the X-Men are going to be with the MCU now. So you're going to look at this and say, well, there's nothing that's going to carry on after this. It's going to die off for like 4 years until everyone forgets about it, and then they're going to be reintroduced in some way.
Yeah, and I think that also another reason why I'm not very excited for this movie is because it's almost weird for me to like see Sophie Turner in that Dark Phoenix role. Like she was been like, I don't know, the poster child for the very humane X-Men. Like she's always looking after somebody, or she's always very worried about somebody, and now she's supposed to be some sort of evil person. I mean, I can't.
That's what happens when you get possessed, bro. You know, that's.
I guess so, but like she was fine in Apocalypse, like you said, so it's weird. Like.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I don't feel good about this, and just kind of reading on some of the history about. Like where Matthew Vaughn was, he really wanted Days of Future Past as the end of the trilogy, but
wow.
Yeah, and then Fox loved it like so much, the idea that they were like, yo, let's just do this as the next movie, and he was like, no, dude, and they were like, yes, dude, and he was like, no, man, and then he walked away, and they're like, all right, get Singer in here, and so Singer takes what he built, but then as you can see when they go to Apocalypse, Singer couldn't carry it again on that film. That was just a complete disaster, and this is the last of the disaster where they keep moving forward by 10 years at a time. So now they're supposed to be in the 90s, I guess, but nobody ever ages.
No, they don't. I mean, maybe they get wrinkles. I don't know. So a couple, but I think it's almost funny though, because like with I was just like reminiscing on like X-Men, X2, X3, which is not very good, but like all those old X-Men movies, and like, did you ever think we would get to this point where First Class was so good, Days of Future Past was so good, and now we're just not excited anymore for X-Men films?
Yes,
it's weird.
because people, people like Marvel, who cared about their films, and DC also. I'm not going to say Marvel. Just DC has good films as well, including just the most recent one, Shazam, which is really good, and they really took a lot of care in that. There's people that really care and believe in the genre. So when you get spoon fed some garbage like Apocalypse, you're just like, no, dude, I don't. I'm not going back to the days of Batman and Robin, and we're just not going to do that. No Elektra, no Catwoman, we're not doing that. And so everyone has to step their game up if they want that box office money. So that's really where it's at, man.
And it's funny because I was reading a little bit on the delays. So what was it? It was supposed to come out in November, then they pushed it back to February, and now they pushed it back to June. The thing is, they said they feel like they can have more success in June because Avengers Endgame, it's already been out for a little while now, and it's gonna like kind of start to lose its legs a little bit domestically. So they feel like they can capitalize here because of the scale. The studio apparently they think that this movie is gonna be the biggest X-Men film ever, and I'm like, okay,
No,
but like no, I don't know if I buy that, dude. That's a
no.
lot of delays to
That's
really. I don't know.
It's too many delays. Unless I could be completely surprised, but even if I am, it's still a one-off. That's what it
Yeah,
feels like. A one-off.
that's
I'm not connected to anything else really. There's too much bad in there. And of course, even in the MCU, there's bad. Like I really don't like Iron Man 3, but
what? No, dang.
no, I don't like that
It's
movie.
so good. It's so good. It's so comic booky. I don't know. Shane Black killed it. It's so
Oh,
good.
yes, that you are probably right about that, but probably not by the same definition.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's okay to be wrong, Dave. I mean,
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that was just like the black sheep in the whole set. So, but even that movie, I can still watch it and not say this is so bad I can't watch it.
yeah.
Like Apocalypse, I don't ever want to see that again. I saw that once and I was like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
I considered doing a rewatch of the entire like X-Men universe up to this point, and then I really could not bring myself to sit through Apocalypse again because one, I love Oscar Isaac, and what they did to him was awful, and I kind of feel like that's what they might do with Sophie Turner and Dark Phoenix. Like I love her as an actress, and they might just like ruin her character in this one.
Yep, they probably will. But look, it's here's what we can count on. It's a Monday screening, right?
Yes, praise God. Oh.
Yeah. Monday screening, as opposed to a Tuesday or Wednesday screening, which Wednesday is usually just like the graveyard. That's just like, and your embargo is all the way like the minute before 7 p.m., 6:59 p.m. on that Thursday. So that gives me a little bit of confidence that it's not so late. But all right, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's better than what we think it'll be like.
Yeah.
I really hope so, man.
Or we can go in expecting complete garbage and then be surprised.
Ooh, I like that approach. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, we can do that for sure. And so what we'll talk about next time when we get a chance to speak again on our next spoiler talk, we'll bring in the Robert Pattinson as Batman because we did see that is a confirmed thing, and a lot of people are upset about that, but I think a lot of those people don't know what his actual credits are. It's not just Twilight.
They think, oh, Twilight. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, Twilight, like, is not the only thing he's done. He's done The Lost City of Z, which he was the best part of. He was the best part of the entire film. And then you have Good Time.
Good
no
Time,
one see
dude.
Good Time, Dave.
No
one see that movie?
I saw Good Time. Well, because you know what? If A24 would do their screenings a little bit more, I did go to screen that one. To be fair, I did screen that one.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was going to be, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I was like, "Dude, this is Twilight guy, bro. This is crazy."
Yeah.
And he kills
range.
it. He has a lot of range, and he has the chin. So,
Like we were talking about before we
Yeah.
started recording, I mean, the chin is so important with Batman. It is like the thing for Batman.
yep. And I think he has the face and he has the look, and I think once they bulk him up, everyone's going to be really surprised. Very much in the same vein as Chris Evans, who was previously Human Torch and then got casted as Captain America, and everyone just kind of didn't see it until he bulked up, he got the right hair, and everyone was like sold. They're like, wow, dude, that's crazy. I think he has the same transformative potential.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that what people are forgetting is that he went up against Nicholas Hoult, and both are really good actors. So if Nicholas Hoult didn't get this role, I mean, Robert Pattinson must have done something really good in his screen test to show the studio that he's our next Batman. Because Ben Affleck, before all the controversy happened, he was a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Actually, I don't know if was he a better Bruce Wayne than he was a Batman. I think he might have been.
I mean,
I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
I didn't mind his embodiment of the character. I didn't like that they made him so stocky, so like he was almost Fat Man, in that suit.
Oh my god.
And but other than that, I liked his Bruce Wayne character. I liked his Batman, but I didn't like what they gave him to do as Batman. One being a murderous like psychopath is one thing, and the other thing is that he was dumb, dude. Just like all the other Batmen are all dumb. Like none of them are detectives. Batman v Superman, he gets fooled by everyone. I'm like, wait, Lex knows who you are? What? Well, why is this happening?
Yeah.
So the story narrative aspect of Batman was horrible, but I didn't mind him as Batman or Bruce Wayne.
But what I know we don't want to talk about it too much, but what Robert Pattinson has the opportunity to do is to be a very good Bruce Wayne and a very good Batman, because what I think he can deliver is a very cunning version of both.
Yes.
So it will bring in those detective vibes, and I think he's going to be really good at that.
I'm looking forward to that, and he has a physicality also, so I'm looking forward to a great hand-to-hand combat, fight in the shadows kind of thing, very Metal Gear, because that is Batman. Batman just drop in and just whoop everyone. Even sometimes he does, but it's mostly all stealth. But I do look forward to him making a few mistakes though, because this is kind of like the more transformative years, his initial years. So I am looking forward to that, and I think he's going to do a bang up job, man. It's going to be a big surprise.
I think so too, man. I totally agree with you.
All right. Well, I think that is all we have there. I think we talked for we were at 45 minutes, so that's not bad.
No way.
Not bad at all. So guys, thanks so much for coming by, watching the spoiler talk today. Again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Click that like button, click that subscribe button, share it with your friends and your mama, and when you're done here, go do it over there on his channel.
Yes, here. Yeah.
Reflect the Screen with James Profetto. It's been an honor. Thank you so much for coming by today, my man.
Bro, you're thank you so much for even thinking about having me on. It's an honor, man. It really is an honor.
Oh, absolutely, man. You do great reviews, guys. So, guys, I will check you guys on the flip.